I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 5 shots or only 4? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I kind of lost track myself. But being as this is an Umarex HDR.68, the most powerful toy in the world, and would blow your head off, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? So yeah, all jokes aside, I did, in the little bit of a thing, did call it a toy, and I know a lot of you are going to get your knickers in a twist. It's not a toy, but we'll just put it out there. I'm a bit late to the party with this one. This is the Umarex HDR.68. It's a bit of a beast, isn't it? It's huge. A slightly bigger version than the HDR50. Obviously shoots 68 caliber balls. Barrel slides in and out. It's all the usual stuff. Drum magazine. It's got a good weight to it. We're not loaded or no CO2 in it yet, so there's not that weight in it. But now this is the 16 joule version. We're allowed those here in France. We're allowed up to 20 joules without a license. And as I've said previously, I have got a license, so for all you out there that are going to say, oh, this is illegal, that's illegal, you're going to end up in prison. No, I'm not. So we're going to have a look at it. I'm going to load it up. I've got some OSB down there. I don't know how powerful it is. I've got some homemade rounds and some aluminium balls and bits and pieces. We'll see what fits in the mag nicely. A couple of shots through the chronograph and see what it'll do on the targets. So let's crack on. These are homemade using the Ammo 6 slug maker with the resin from Home Defence 24. It's a nice fit in there. It's not too tight, but it goes in quite nicely. They're 4.3 grams, so I shall fire a couple through the chronograph and then we'll shoot the targets. But, squirt the old silicone oil. I'm using Umarex CO2 that's been sat in the sun for a while, so they're nice and warm. .3, so let's change that. We're armed, ready to go. .23 joules. 23 joules. 22. Shit. So that's quite surprising. 16 joule version is coming in at 23 joules. I've fired 3 shots through the chronograph, that'll do for that now. I could put various ammunition rounds in it, but because I changed the weight on the chronograph for each one, it wouldn't make any difference. So 23 joules out of a 16 joule gun, so that's already illegal in France. If you haven't got a license. As I've said, I've got a license, I've got category C. I can have anything, hunting rifles, shotguns, I could have a 303 Enfield if I wanted to. But yeah, if you used to buy this, through the chronograph, I've set the weight, it's an accurate chronograph, 23 joules. That's interesting. It's not as loud as I thought it was going to be, it's not as loud as the HDR50. Anyway, we've got some targets set up. I'm going to see how accurate it is, because we have got, I'm not looking down the gun before anyone gets their knickers in a twist. We've got painted sights on it, which the HDR50 doesn't have. Whether it'll make it any easier for aiming or not, I do not know. But I've got 2 shots left. There's only 5 shots in the magazine, so I'm going to fire 2 over here. We'll reload it with some aluminium. Oh no, I'll really reload it with some more ammo until the gas runs out. and then we'll put some different stuff in it. So let's see what we can destroy over here. Shit, that came back at me. Oh, that's one can gone. Doesn't take long to get through 5, but I'm going to change the gas now. So we've got 3 good drums out of the CO2. See what it'll do to that roasting tin. These hot glue ones are a little bit looser in the drum. So I seem to get sort of a good 3 drums on 1 CO2. There's still a little bit in it, but so not a lot. Not enough to make any sort of difference shooting it up the range. So I'm just going to change that one out again. Let's put a little bit more oil down it. So I've got all sorts of brands of CO2, but for this test I've just picked out the Umarex one, so it's consistent all the way through. Now for this one, I've got some of these aluminium balls from Home Defence 24, 68 cal. These are 7.2 grams. I don't know how well they're going to sit in the drum. It might be a tight fit. So you've got your drum. Oh, they do sort of push in a little bit. You know. They don't want to be loose, because otherwise they just fall out. So I'll pop them in the gun. Let's see what it'll do to this. I mean, the other ones have put a hole in the roasting tin. We'll have a look at the targets in a minute. Nearly all the Coke cans have gone. But we've got some OSB down there. Let's check that out. No, they just fly back at me. So let's do the roasting tin. They don't seem to like penetrating. So let's try these blue ones again. These are a tighter fit in the drum, so that might make a bit of a difference. So I'm really pretty chuffed with that. It is the 16 joule version, which is putting out 23 to 22 joules. I will just fire through the chronograph again just to make sure. Before anyone says you're too close to your chronograph, I mean, I'm sitting here, which is a good 40 centimetres from the chronograph, so it's not picking up the CO2. So what do we think of the HDR.68? Awesome. Now this is coming in very overpowered. My chronograph is accurate. A lot of people are using like these airsoft ones and they're getting really close to it, and I think they're getting false readings. I'm not calling anyone out. You know, some people have got proper chronographs and they are getting good power. But a lot of these claims that say, oh, I'm getting this, that and the other, are not substantiated by a decent chronograph. 16 joules out of the box. First couple of shots 22, 23 joules. Some slightly heavier ammunition. First shot 20 joules, second shot 32 joules. I'm a good 40 centimetres away from the chronograph, so it's not the CO2 that's coming out that it's measuring. A couple of them did say range on it when it's it doesn't read it going, but that could be that the sun is right up there straight on the sensors. Doesn't normally affect it, but wow. I don't know if I want to mod this now, because that's powerful enough, isn't it? You're getting a good 3 drums per CO2. Now previously, guns that I've bought, the HDS.68 for example, I bought the 7.5 joule version, that was coming in at around 3 joules. I should have probably sent that one back, but it was a mission. I wanted to tune that one up and get it done nice. The HDX.68 is the 7.5 joule version. That was coming in around sort of between 7 and 13 joules. Tuned up, that's now putting out 25 to 30 joules. You know, I think if you had the 40 joule version and tune that up, you would get a bit more. But at the time I didn't have my license, and we wanted to tune it up with using parts from Home Defence 24. There probably will be a video with this from parts from Home Defence 24 at some point. I just wanted to get this video out. It's not an unboxing, but it's my first test. Initial thoughts. Most of the Coke cans are destroyed, disappeared. It didn't really touch the OSB board, but that's pretty solid stuff. And it's about 10mm thick. The roasting tin, it's done a pretty good bit of damage to that, so yeah. Obviously there'll be some more experimenting with ammunition and all that kind of thing. But so far, I'm really chuffed with this. It's a good size, because I've got big hands. It's a good size in my hand and it feels good. And it's not as loud as the HDR.50. I know the HDR.50 is tuned up, but considering that, it's fairly quiet. Whether when we start pulling it apart and messing about with it, it changes that, I do not know. Now the reason I went for the 16 joule version is because the 7.5 joule version, I couldn't find any in stock available when I wanted to buy it. So I thought, do you know what, I'm always buying the low powered version, so we'll go for the 16 joule version and we'll see what that is. But yeah, whether it's a little bit worrying that it is overpower, you know, if you've not got a license, and especially if you're here in France and you're only allowed 20 joules, the first couple of shots was over that. If you're in the UK, you can't get hold of the 16 joule version anyway. Legal limit for a pistol in the UK is 6 foot-pounds, which is around about 7.5 joules. It is a bit of a controversy at the moment about people modifying these markers and stuff for more power. I do it because I like tinkering and I can get away with it because I've got a license, and I do state that in all my videos. Only do it if it's legal to do so in your country. But and of course using them for home defence is a big no-no as well. So what is the point of them really? I don't know. But yeah, I'm well chuffed with that. That is awesome bit of kit. So I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be more coming along with this at some point. It is super bloody hot at the moment here in, we're not South France, but we're sort of a long way down in France. It is Scotcho. Yeah, there'll be more coming along. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.